Hi, hello. Hi, Nina. Hi, Blue. How are y'all doing? I am actually bringing up the little thing, the little be right back thing for breaks that I always forget to put up ahead of time. I actually remembered to do it for once in my life. So it's been it's been a time waiting to get back into this book. Um, a lot of stuff happened last stream. Um, and we are in the midst of chaos right now. Um, and I am scared. And I also really want to know, like we were talking about last time, what that ring is that Murong Lian gave to Gumong, and what the deal with the pouch is. And I feel like every stream we get closer and closer to finding out. Um, if I especially want to know if one of them has to do with Gumong's missing souls, or one of them at least. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of anticipating like more twists and turns today because Meat Bun has been delivering that. Um, yeah. So, I guess I'm gonna get started. We are on. Oh, you're hearing mic reverb? That's weird. Hold on. That's okay, wait. Uh is uh is the video being funky or anything, or is it just the audio? Hmm. It does a thing every time Oh, that's weird. Okay. Oh wait. Um I'm just messing with some settings to try and see if I can fix that. But honestly, is it still doing the thing? I um It's still doing the thing? Okay. I'm gonna check the cord. Maybe it's not connected all the way. What about now? Sorry for my chair being super squeaky, by the way. But yeah, is it better now? I unplugged it and replugged it in. Oh, it's better now. Okay, that's good. I think I just didn't have it plugged in right. I have like this little thing that connects to my computer and I plug a bunch of stuff in and it's a little bit fiddly sometimes. I have like dual monitors and I can't tell you how many times I like turn everything on and the monitors are like, there's no connection. And I literally just have to sit there messing with the cables until it's like, oh yeah, there is a connection. Um, so that's good. Okay. So we were on page 231 for chapter 183, which is called Recovery. I actually liked the sound of this chapter title. Up in the sky, Murong Chen was battling dozens of cultivators. Many had already sustained heavy injuries and were incapable of continuing the fight. Murong Chen summoned his own holy weapon, that bamboo xiao, its bleak sound ringing out over the city. Another group chasing him was unable to endure this burst of spiritual energy and fell behind. He sneered, phoenix feathers fluttering as he streaked toward the golden terrace. Yet as he reached for the soul box, a scarlet flame barrier fell before him. A circle of fire blazed in the air and surrounded the entirety of the golden terrace. Murong Chen turned, wings beating and rage in his eyes. Shihajun, you two have come to stop us? Through the flickering gold and red sparks, Moshi studied the Emperor's face. This man had once worn 1,000 masks, some kind and some evil, some furious and some compassionate. He had spent his life like this, living behind innumerable facades, his original face long since lost. Even now, as he stared at Moshi with a palpable anger, his emotions seemed insincere. Murong Chen had always been his imperial majesty. There was no way for him to return to being simply himself. This person's manifold lies and layered schemes flashed through Moshi's mind like a revolving carousel lantern. Moshi's fury may have been silent, but it was deep. He couldn't bear to waste another syllable on the Emperor. He shot forward, the Shuairan snake whip ripping through the air like lightning, straight for Murong Chen's heart. Murong Chen had no time to dodge. He enclosed himself in Fei Huang's wings to block Moshi's blow, gritting his teeth. What brilliant work, Mengzi. You actually removed the puppet pill. Shuairan flashed out again like a swift beam of light, striking at Murong Chen's abdomen. I have nothing more to say to you, Moshi said icily. He leapt up from a barrier array in midair. Soaring into the sky, he slammed down the snake whip, which burst with scarlet light. This time, Murong Chen didn't dare let himself become distracted. He snapped open those phoenix wings as he dodged, evading the attacks that fell upon him like torrential rain. He was under no illusions about his decision to fight like this. What he'd done was akin to the unsealing move Gumong had used to pit his lone wolf technique against the Liao Guoshi. When cultivators unleashed the spiritual form of the demon or spirit beast inside them, their power in battle would increase immeasurably for a short period of time, but it was a move that risked everything. He'd have use of the spirit beast's power for an incense time at most. After that brief period, his meridians would explode, and he'd lose whatever remained of his spiritual energy. If he wanted to release the destructive power of the demon blood beast, he had to get the soul box while he could, and use his own soul and life force to shatter it. But Moshi was far too formidable an opponent. As Murong Chen met attack after attack, he was beaten back into retreat. Fiery light blazed up across Chonghua City, and soldiers and cultivators rushed toward them from all corners of the capital, silver light flashing from their weapons as they streaked over on mounted swords. The steady stream of reinforcements was like a winding dragon brandishing its malevolent claws as it soared toward the Emperor, ready to swallow him up in this rebellion. Everything ends here, said Moshi, transforming Shuairan into a sword. With a flare of cold light, the blade hurtled toward Murong Chen. Storm clouds suddenly roiled in the sky. A beam of white light pierced the depths of the clouds like a sharp sword unsheathing. Before anyone could react, a bolt of lightning crashed down from on high. The blinding light struck the golden terrace, extinguishing the protective barrier of flames Moshi had set around the platform. The encircling inferno that had bloodied half the sky was snuffed into an expanse of scorched earth, hissing with gray smoke. Moshi's face went white, and he fell heavily to one knee on his barrier in the clouds. Murong Chen was stunned. He swiftly realized what had happened. Squinting through the smoke, he mumbled, "The vow of calamity." In the chaos of the fight, everyone had forgotten that Moshi had sworn the vow of calamity, pledging eternal loyalty to Chonghua and its emperor. Moshi hadn't violated the first part, but the second triggered the vow the instant Moshi moved to take the emperor's life. A calamity had descended from the highest heavens to smash Moshi's barrier and strike its caster. Moshi remained on his knees, head bowed, and choked out a mouthful of blood. Ha! Murong Chen stared at Moshi. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he burst into sinister laughter. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Now unimpeded, he landed atop the golden terrace and came to stand before the gleaming soul box. The reinforcement troops converging from all directions had yet to arrive. The Emperor's face was ghoulish, distorted by hatred and madness. Fireball. It's all thanks to you being so fixated on protecting your Gumong Guga's subordinates that you took the vow of calamity. He reached out, hand hovering over the soul box, his face ghastly pale in the little box's halo of light. Remember this well. You had the power to stop us, but it was your past obsession that helped us push this disobedient nation into the depths of hell. Moshi struggled to his feet. Even if he was reduced to ashes by the heavenly calamity, he would stop Murong Chen from obtaining that box. But it was already too late. To maintain consciousness under the torment of an ancient vow was a near impossible task. To defy the will of heaven even more so. The clouds above seemed to seethe with anger. Bolts of lightning hissed as they cracked across the sky, ready to touch down and reduce this hapless mortal to dust. Murong Chen brought his hands together, securely clasping the box from top and bottom. A beam of dazzling golden light shot up to the heavens, colliding with the storm raging in the sky. A furious clamor sounded, and the world flashed strangely, as if infinite vengeful ghosts were about to break through the shuddering earth. Choking, Moshi pushed past the restraints of the vow of calamity. Facing that brilliance that threatened to turn into countless sharp swords and pierce him through, he shot toward Murong Chen. You can't. But Murong Chen had already flown into the skies. Holding the box sealing the power of the demon blood beast, he poured his soul and life force into it. The little Liu Li box that Gumong had condensed from his own soul wailed in his palms as cracks crawled over its surface. Murong Chen threw his head back, his laughter like an owl's chilling cries. He had perhaps never laughed so freely in his life, without the slightest concealment or affectation, without the slightest forethought or worry. He laughed long and loud in the whistling wind, looking down at this capital city that had imprisoned him all his life. And then, with a final howl, he crushed the soul box between his palms. Its fragments instantly scattered into the air. Black magic spiritual energy poured from the shattered soul box like a dark wave, surging out into the vast world, screaming in rage as it spread over the entirety of the realm. In a blink, the stars vanished, and the moon was blotted out. The burst of energy devoured Murong Chen in an instant. He was already no more than a translucent apparition. Yet his eyes still glinted with reproach as he gazed down at the scene of desolation beneath his feet, his voice weak yet unmistakably deranged. Look, this is the choice you made, all of you. You refused to bend to our will and made our life impossible, so we will deprive you of all peace. As his final words rang out, the spiritual energy of the demon blood beast tore his fading specter to pieces. Only that hair-raising laughter still swirled like an echo amid the maelstrom of demonic energy. The power of the demon blood beast has been unsealed. Shocked cries and miserable screams rose up from the imperial city. The flames of every candle throughout the capital shuddered with fear. The energy rushing from the soul box grew ever stronger as the gap in the air where Murong Chen had been devoured emitted a blinding white light. Moshi, closest to the array, felt an impossible weight pressing down on his spine. A sense of overwhelming insignificance before an impending catastrophe that was nearly enough to break him. He lost consciousness almost at once. In the moment his eyes fluttered shut, he seemed to see a wisp of golden light floating from the shattered soul box. Nothing like the overbearing black magic energy around him. That golden light formed an indistinct silhouette. It was a much younger Gumong, in his armor and helmet, his face bright and relaxed. Leaping up from the shards of the soul box, he flew toward the boiling sky. Moshi reached out with Gumong's name on his lips, but his throat was filled with acrid blood. Those two syllables were stoppered in his throat. Gumong. He fell, down, down, down from the fierce battle raging in midair, until at last he crashed into heavy darkness. When Moshi awoke, he found himself lying in bed, surrounded by blurred figures moving past him in white and green. His long lashes quivered as his view of his surroundings gradually cleared. He was in one of Shenong Terrace's healing pavilions. Those flickering figures were healers from the ministry. They moved between the sickbeds, treating injured cultivators. As Moshi came more awake, human speech poured into his ringing ears. The sounds of crying from a nearby bed, words of comfort exchanged among family members, the incantations of healers as they cast their spells. He gradually gathered his awareness amid these sounds, and the events from before he fell unconscious flashed back into his mind. The rebellion in the throne room, the appearance of Jing Chen, the soul box, the brilliant light. Gumong. He sat bolt upright, agony tearing across his injuries. His long lashes fluttered down as he frowned, eyes closed tightly